Okay, so it's been a few days now since I've had the grid running on this account. The value is still fairly the same as before. The proportion of USDT and CSPR fluctuates, and my grid bot is here. Now, I had actually modified this grid bot. So from the previous episode that I've shown you, I had expanded this grid bot and I lowered my lower grid and increased the range of my higher grid. And the reason is because I wanted to run it for a longer period of time. So it still has the same principles, it's just wider. Right here, as you can see, these are the bounds. I put 20 levels there. So there is about 1% in between the grids. And as before, I continue to take profit in CSPR. And that is visible right here when we look at history. So we take profit in Casper coin. Now, one of the things I wanted to look at is to see if I can create a trailing upper and lower grids for this type of a grid. Right, so this is a geometric grid as we looked before. Again, if I try to create a new one right now, you can see that if I have geometric selected, I can choose how I want to take my profit in the quote or base currency. If I use the quote currency, I can use the trailing up and trailing down, either or both of them. But again, I wanted specifically to have base currency. And unfortunately, this option is now not available to me. So it's a bit of a limitation as I can see it. Maybe that's a feature that 3commas will release at some point of time. Another thing to point out is that right here it says short. And that may be confusing to some of you because, and in fact, it's even confusing to me because this is a spot grid. So there is no long and short. It's all long, right? But 3commas using that terminology as if it was trading on futures, because again, it's selling off the base currency. So it's calling this grid as a short. I don't find a problem with this, although I think that particular profit and change that I can see here is reflective of that mindset, because from what I can see, this grid is actually making money. It had made multiple transactions as I've shown you here. The price is fairly flat here. And from the account value, we are also going up in terms of total value. So let me go back here. So this is the value in USDT. This is increasing. This is the value in Bitcoin. It's not as relevant to consider. Well, what you could also monitor is this value in Casper, because one of the ideas behind this whole strategy is to accumulate more Casper, right? I don't want to sell it all off. I do want to buy when it's low and sell a little bit when it goes up or fluctuates. So I think that this display of profit and change and the fact that it's being called short is a bit misleading. Let's see how this will change in a few days. I wanted to take this quick video now after the grid ran for about 2 days, and then I wanted to come back in a few more days again. All right, and now I'm back after 2 weeks. So it's been 16 days and 23 hours as the grid was started. And we can see there were a lot of transactions here, buying and selling, all within the range that we defined. So I'm pleased about that. However, I'm still puzzled about the performance indicators that 3commas is showing me. The profit continues to be shown negative, including ROI. And also, there's the issue here with the funds. It says I have insufficient funds. And I do not understand that. If I go into account, so this is the sub account where this grid is running. And we can look, for example, at the last 2 weeks or so. Well, that's a normal variation of the account balance. As we buy and sell and we trade in KuCoin. And so now we are $1 richer. 2 weeks ago it was $55 equivalent of the balance. And you can see I have still a reasonable amount of KuCoin, and I have a reasonable amount of USDT. And these amounts that are shown here are also placed as orders. So actually I can just log in now in a new tab in KuCoin and see how it looks in KuCoin, but these amounts are already placed. So in fact, I have $31 worth of CSPR orders, and I have $24 worth of USDT orders. And I think these amounts are kind of free, not used. So I do not understand this funds warning, and I will contact 3commas now to ask them about this. I would also very much like to understand their reasoning for displaying a negative ROI. How did they calculate that? I'm not able to explain this, so I will do this as well. And hopefully, when I record another segment of this video in a few days, I will be able to answer that. Okay, I had a bit of a discussion now with the product owner from 3commas who did point me out to some of the documentation, as well as just a chat that we had. And well, documentations are always being updated, right? So it may not have all the latest information, and the products themselves, like the grids, they're also being updated. So I think it makes sense to have these discussions and for me to continue to update you. So I learned a little bit about why these profit figures are being displayed as they are, negatively, even though based on my visual analysis, the grid is making money. Also, I had this funds warning message, and it kind of comes and goes. And we also discussed this warning message with the product owner. So let me explain this part to you as well now. Now you can see finally it's 21 days that this grid is running. And as before, if I look at history, my profits in KuCoin, so this is all good. So the first question is, well, why does it show negatively? And the reason is because there is the settings option here, and the profits and the results are shown in USDT and BTC as default. And if I switch this to crypto, because I am trading in the base currency, I'm trading in the CSPR coin, then you can see immediately that this particular grid is profitable, and it calculates the ROI as well. So here, all of these additional options that I can enable in this hidden gear bar is providing information that finally I see as useful. So we have relatively good average daily profit. I'm happy that I'm generating CSPR coin with this grid, and I'll leave these settings as this. So once again, they're here. And also, I was told that they're described here under monitoring tools of the grids. So there are 2 articles that I'll leave in the comments of this video in case you like to read help articles. You can go through them. So grid is making money. One more important point I wanted to share with you here. Now I don't have this funds error, but I have had it for almost entire 21-day period. And I could also see it in the logs. So if I go to view logs, this shows detailed information about each grid and order that is being placed. And yeah, here I had this error messages, insufficient funds. And I was really confused because it appeared to me that I have enough funds, and I started the grid with not 100%, but like 95% of the funds. So I was really confused. Why would suddenly I have less and less funds? And the explanation is the following. The funds that I'm missing is USDT. And I am accumulating Casper coin, CSPR, but I'm spending USDT to purchase and sell CSPR. And finally, I'm paying my fees, exchange fees, in USDT. So my USDT balance is slowly being drained as I perform these transactions. Not by a lot, but if I specify the total balance when I open the grid, the total balance on the account, I would run into this particular issue of funds warning. So on the exchange, and this is my KuCoin exchange now where I place this grid, it's being placed right here. If I look at my orders history, so spot trade history, and then I go to trade history. So not order history, but trade history. You will see right here the fees associated with these transactions, and slowly with each transaction I'm losing USDT. So don't put 100% of your balance for your grid when you create it. Put 95 or be mindful maybe to add more USDT if you're using exactly the same grid as I've shown. By the way, I put a copy to that grid, and I'll do it again here in this episode. That will be the final episode that I'll shoot for KuCoin and GridBot. So I'll leave this link as well. Otherwise, I think I'll keep it running. I'll keep it running for a while and accumulate more Casper coin. So see you or talk to you in the next video. Thanks and bye.